So do you think that the BN, they are very defensive in terms of electoral reform, some of the parties, and not much has been talked by them. Do you think that actually allowing electoral reform or implementing all the demands by you, actually they can gain back the trust of the rakyat and it may translate into votes for them?
Absolutely. Can I tell you that if they had dealt with the 9th July rally differently, they would have got many more votes.
But they still
and I'm
chance,
afraid
right?
they keep blaming Bersih, but they did it to themselves.
But
right? Yes.
Now they still have chance, right? What do you think?
Of course they do. Everybody has. Nothing is ever, a week in politics is anything can happen, right? So to me, of course they can gain credibility. It's not difficult. As I said, credibility is about being honest and open, and also not being afraid to say I'm sorry when they have done something wrong. And to me, that is good leadership. Is accepting, you don't have to say sorry, but accepting that there are errors, accepting that they may have perhaps, yes, there are weaknesses, and saying, but we hear you. That's all we need them to say. We hear you and we take on board what you say. Singapore did it. Never thought they would do it, but they did it.
Yeah.
And how much?
Their Prime Minister apologized.
And what happened? Nothing happened to him. He probably got votes for that. So if I were PR advisor for the Barisan Nasional, I can assure you I would advise them quite differently on how to have approached Bersih, the Bersih 9 rally. As I told you, we didn't even know how to advertise we didn't even know how to do the PR for our rally. But they're the ones, they helped us.
Now they are your PR agency.
Absolutely. They helped us. I think if there was the political will, the will of the authorities to resolve these issues, we would have been engaged by now in dialogue. I have a concern that the 13th general election is around the corner, and we have asked for 8 demands which are immediate demands prior to the 13th general election. They are all very doable. They are not difficult to deliver on. Not at all, provided there is the political will to do so. So if the elections are around the corner, and they have mentioned this biometric system, and no one is engaging the rakyat on the biometric system, then I'm asking the question, what's happening? And shouldn't the EC be coming out and telling us what it is they are doing in relation to the biometric system? Now, the fact that they are introducing the biometric system shows they accept that there are phantom voters.
Yes.
It must be, otherwise why would you need to do that? So I have a concern, yes, that there may not be the political will to bring the change that is needed.
What if the general election is called before any of the electoral reform is done? And how will you ask the rakyat to do?
Well,
do we participate in the election?
Oh, I think you must participate in the election. I think every rakyat, everyone must participate. All those who can vote must vote. You must exercise your right to vote. And I think it will be very disappointing if the government doesn't pay heed to any of the things that we have asked for and that the rakyat have demanded. And I think, but as far as participating in elections, of course, everybody must.
But now you see, the rakyat facing a dilemma here. On one hand, we're asking the government to do electoral reform. When they don't, when they refuse, our choice is we protest using our votes. But in an unfair election system, our votes actually doesn't do the effect on the government.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, neither way.
I know what you're saying, but I still think that the numbers who go out and vote are an important factor as well. To mitigate to a small extent some of the electoral mishaps, as it were.
Mhm.
So I think whatever happens, whether reforms are introduced or not, the rakyat must go out and vote. And I think you will find more people voting this time because there's a lot more awareness today than there has been for a long time.
Mhm.
Do you think the vote will go as waste because none of the electoral reforms done before the GE?
No, no vote goes to waste as such. Obviously, a level playing field gives more meaning to your vote. I'm not denying that. It gives more weight, it gives more meaning to your vote. But even without the electoral reform, every vote counts. I know everyone asks about Bersih 3 or the next rally, as it were, but let me say this. You don't hold rallies at the drop of a hat. You don't do it every month, or it's not something you do because it is a very, very serious matter. And I think if the responses from the government are positive, then you don't need to look at those options.
Yeah.
And ultimately, to me, whether there is another rally or not is really in the hands of the government and the authorities, because if they respond positively, and by positive I'm only asking for engagement. I'm asking for engagement at this point, and some serious political will to change. Then you don't need to look at the option of a rally or a gathering or a demonstration of any kind. So whether there's going to be another rally or not is not an answer I can give right now, because I'm waiting for this engagement that they have said they will have. And I think we need to give them a chance, we need to engage them, we need to try and persuade them to our point of view.